I guess to put it all into perspective for everybody, but you know, for me and my wife and everybody to not have the race teams this winter has been pretty different. So you know, as we've worked through a lot of the things, basically what we've been doing is we've got to go on vacation. We've got to try to figure out how to be normal, and DeLana's 14 weeks pregnant, so.
Bit of a shocker. Recent Hall of Fame inductee Cale Yarborough was very candid about why he retired from racing when he was still competitive. My daughters, he said, there's a price to pay when it comes to racing, and I'd paid enough. Now, many people in this sport struggle with the balance of family and racing. Kevin and DeLana Harvick made a similar choice, and Danielle Trotta has that story.
You made quite a splash at the media tour with this news. Whose idea was it to announce it there?
We had made the decision that I wasn't going to wear a fire suit because things are probably going to change and grow rather quickly, and they're expensive. So without wanting to invest in that, you know, we knew our deadline was going to be the shootout, because when I didn't show up in a fire suit, people were going to start to ask questions. So it's funny, he came to me right before he left to go to the mini tour, and he said, I think someone's found out about this. And he said, you know, how do you feel about going ahead and announcing it? And you know, I still wanted to get back to the doctor one more time and have one more ultrasound just to make sure everything was okay, but I definitely thought it was important that we make the announcement and not someone else.
So, to be clear, did KHI close so you could start a family, or did you start a family because KHI was closing?
We made the decision that it was time to sort of start that next chapter in our lives with a family. And, you know, you have to have those really honest, sort of difficult conversations. And, you know, I point blank said, I don't think we can have KHI and have a family, and he agreed. But I also hope people understand it wasn't just a hard decision for Kevin about KHI, it was a hard decision for me too, because I was so involved. This is a complete shift in my life, a huge shift.
KHI was your baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's always been our baby. For 10 years it's been our baby. And, you know, as we really had really open and honest discussions about where we saw ourselves down the road and if this was the right time to start a family, neither Kevin nor I were willing to risk not putting as much time and effort into KHI as we had. The rewards didn't outweigh the risk when it came to our family. Family was the most important thing to both Kevin and I. And, you know, we had to make tough decisions. But, you know, a lot of people ask me, you know, am I sad about it or really sad? And we're not.
How much stress did that take off of Kevin, just not having to deal with the KHI side?
It took a lot off Kevin and I, and it took a lot off of us together, because we didn't get to go home and, you know, enjoy being at home because we always took work home. You can't have a successful business and pretend that you can walk away from the office or walk away from the racetrack and leave it behind. It is not possible. I remember going to the doctor for the first time and kind of registering all the paperwork, and they said, now what do you do? You know, because you have to fill out what's your occupation, and I said, I don't know. And she looked at me and she goes, what if I just put wife and mother? And in the beginning it was like a kick in the stomach. And no disrespect to wives and mothers, because that's a hard job, but I'd never considered myself, I mean, I consider myself a wife, more of a partner, sort of business partner with Kevin, best friend. But that never entered my mind. So that's a huge, huge shift for me as well. But I hope people understand how important family is to me, because I was willing to give all that up, and I did give all that up.
And if you're at a racetrack and you're close, what happens then?
I don't know. You know, the funny thing is, a couple years ago when Jeff and Jimmy and everybody, they were having their kids, and I remember asking Kevin, you know, gosh, you know, I'm sure he would miss a race. And Kevin thought that was the craziest thing in the world. He could not imagine getting out of the race car. And he's completely changed at that point now. He's become very, I don't know the word to say, not sappy or mushy, because that's not a good word to describe Kevin, but, you know, in the beginning when we found out, he had a very difficult time telling people that we were going to have a baby without tearing up. And that's not, when you think of Kevin Harvick, that's really not what you think about. So I've seen a whole different side of Kevin, but it's been a good side.
Kevin and DeLana are going to have a little boy, and they jokingly refer to him as Baby Otis. Now, Big Otis is off to a good start this season, 7th at Daytona, 2nd at Phoenix, and best of luck and health to DeLana and Kevin throughout their pregnancy. Coming up on the Hub.